Hey everybody, I'm back again with another video, so grab yourself a cold drink and let's get this on. So the first thing I wanted to do was test the built-in video capture feature in the Nvidia Shield 2017. I did not have the frames per second showing at this point, but I could tell just by playing it that it was playing at an acceptable rate. It might not have been 60 frames per second, but it was playing decent. So now I have RetroArch gameplay and the Nvidia Shield built-in capture feature also. And as you can see, the frame rate is not as acceptable as the Gold. Now, I tried a few settings, I tried to change some stuff, and I turned on the frames per second to see if what the drop was, because as you can see, it is not. It went all the way down to 14, almost 15 frames per second, and as you can see, it's very laggy, stuttering. Now, I did try several things. After this, I tried to lower the resolution. I tried to change some of the settings, and I really couldn't get the RetroArch to play with the built-in Shield application. It just didn't want to play nice. Now, I did also discover that RetroArch utilizes the standard PPSSPP emulation inside of it. So technically they are the same program, except for the Gold just has more features and more settings, and for some reason just runs more efficient. As you can see here, I'm back to Gold, and it is playing at a more than acceptable rate. It's probably not 60, but it's probably within like 40 or 50 frames per second. I will turn on this feature to see the frames per second. I just hadn't had it on yet. Okay, so in the RetroArch, this is where you can configure all of your settings. Now, I tried a bunch of settings to try and get the RetroArch to play nice with the internal. So after I couldn't get that working, I switched to an external video capture device, and it ran 1,000 times better. As you can see on the bottom left, I have the frame rate showing up right there, and it's in the 50s, and it doesn't have the lag that it had when the Nvidia Shield built-in capture was running. So something about that capture program did not like to play nice with the emulation of the RetroArch, which is actually using PPSSPP, just not the Gold version, just the standard version. But since RetroArch can define different settings within it, it runs a lot better than the standard version. I did try the standard version, and it ran so bad it wasn't even worth putting in this versus. But as you can see now, I have the Gold running, and it is running about 48 frames, 49 frames per second. I mean, even with a lot of enemies going, it's not like dropping super down. I think it's going to drop down to like 44, but it's staying close to that 50 range. And I mean, there's a lot going on. There's the water in the background, there's the boats, there's all the enemies, all the lighting effects, so, and even the shadows. So, I mean, it's handling it pretty darn good for being an emulation. It's not dropping to a super low level. The other thing I noticed was that the resolution in the PPSSPP Gold was a lot higher than the RetroArch. So that's why I think that the frame rate might have dropped just a little bit lower on it. Okay, now I'm going to do a direct side-by-side so that you can see that relatively the same part of the game it's running the frame rates relatively close. I would say actually that the RetroArch's frame rate is actually a little higher. But, like I said before, if you were going to use Twitch with the Nvidia Shield, it would be very laggy and not worth it. So I would say that if you don't care about streaming, then maybe go with the RetroArch. But if you're just playing PPSSPP games, so PSP games, then you might want to go with the Gold because it's more dialed in. Oh yeah, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Jake Nasiri. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. I really appreciate you giving me the heads up on this game and the PPSSPP emulator so that I could do this test. If you're looking for a game where you just want to mash some buttons but that actually has really good control and you can pick up the mechanics quickly, this is definitely the game. Okay, we're going to do a little bit more testing. I'm just going to kick this boss's ace on each one, and then we're going to go into final thoughts. But let's kick this boss's ace. And as you can see, the frame rate is still relatively high. It's close to 50 for the most part. And, you know, I mean, look how large this stinking boss is. It's like a third of the screen. And you got rain effects, you got water effects, you got lighting effects, you got lightning and sky. I mean, it's a pretty intensive game, especially for being, you know, a PSP title. I can't even imagine how they got all of that in that little box. But as you can see here, it's streaming great on my large screen TV. It's not having any issues. It's flying right through. I mean, I've got these stupid little spider things coming up on me, trying to choke me out and everything, and I'm ripping them in half. And you know, I got this huge freaking boss that's trying to munch me, and I'm taking him out pretty well. I mean, like I said before, somebody turned me on to this game, Jake, and I had never even played this game before, so I'm actually really liking it. I actually did play a few more levels of the game. I got to this lava level that was really cool, and it's even more intensive and crazier, but I only wanted to make the video so long I tried to keep it under 10 minutes, so I didn't want to include all kinds of levels. I wasn't doing a full-blown walkthrough or anything. I just wanted to show that the Shield TV has really good emulation capabilities, and you know that it can do a lot more than just stream. As you can see, I'm playing games. I'm putting Cody on it. I'm watching YouTube on it. I'm utilizing it for pretty much all of my entertainment now. I mean, I don't really have cable. I pretty much cut that cord already, and I don't watch a lot of regular TV because it's just so much more convenient to stream. So, you know, I really like the machine. I think it was a good $200 spend, especially since they put the joystick with it this time on the 2017 version. Okay, here we go. Final thoughts time. So I tested the PPSSPP Gold and RetroArch. I was going to test the PPSSPP Standard until I found out that RetroArch uses it as its emulator. First off, they both played great on the Nvidia Shield TV, with an external video capture device, but the Gold performed much better when the built-in Shield capture program was running. I lowered the quality and resolution but never got RetroArch working as well as the Gold. So if you're going to be using Twitch or capturing video, I would use the Gold. But if you have a bunch of ROMs and want to just play the game, then RetroArch is great. This also shows the power of the Nvidia. It maintained very playable frame rates, with the amount of load on the device. Once again, thanks to Jake Naziri for leaving a comment about this game and emulator. I will try to test more things that people want to see. Please subscribe if you want to catch more tutorial videos and much more. Anyway, that's my video. Thanks for watching. I'm going to get the tech out of here.